All right, so I've started the recording. So I appreciate you guys joining me. If you have a class of 2028, a junior to be, this is the time to really get moving. If a senior parent's on here or will be joining, the clock is really moving. You have to make these connections immediately. And then anybody who might be younger, this is a chance to build that foundation. If you're in high school, obviously you're on the clock. You're starting your high school 4 years, and you have to get it going. So I want to go over some information, just talk about the urgency that's there, give valuable information that you can use moving forward. And if you have any questions at any point, raise your hand. At the end, I will open up for any questions. Quite a few people will be joining in as we go, and I'll just allow them to come in, but I don't want to delay this meeting. I want to give you guys what you need. All right, so if you can see the screen, you'll see that the clock is moving, as I said before. The window each day is getting smaller and smaller, so it's important to do the right things to be seen and to be evaluated throughout this process. All right, it's a tough journey. There's a lot of athletes looking to get these scholarship offers, and you have to position yourself the right way. All right, so that's going to be the main topic: is action steps to be able to do to make sure your information's out there. I do have my co-host with me, my 1-year-old daughter sitting on my lap. So if you hear any noise, that's what it is. She's hanging out with me today until mom gets home. All right, so let me introduce myself. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Shannon Riley. I'm owner, founder of Dream Sports Group. Dream All American, our All American Games is underneath our umbrella. We also have camp division and we have a recruiting division, National Radar. So I wanted to go over that. But myself, I was a 4-year starter at the Division I level. I went to Villanova University in Pennsylvania. We're an FCS school, 1AA is what it was called back then. High level, All-American selection when I was in high school, 50 plus offers, great education, a great experience on the field, and I would do it over again and again and again because I use the education and the networking to build to where we are now. But the reason why I started this company and this game, if you can see the screen, I'm from Delaware. Delaware is a small state, only 3 counties. And even though I was 6'2", 190, no one was recruiting me because of my zip code. College coaches say, you know what? There's no talent in Delaware. They skip right over the state. They'll go to New Jersey, they go to Pennsylvania, they go to Maryland, they go to DC, Virginia, and go right through Delaware on I-95 without stopping. So that was my biggest obstacle was my zip code. And then my coach didn't help me. He was like, I'm busy. I have too many kids to be able to help out everybody. So he didn't do anything. We were 6-4 every year, maybe 7-3. So college coaches weren't pouring in because we weren't a powerhouse. And then I was told if I was good, they'll find me. So I kind of sat back and waited. And that is not a good strategy. You got to do the right things to be seen and evaluated. So I was under the radar for a long time. I know I talked about 50 plus offers, and I did have those when it was all said and done. But going into my senior year, I didn't have any. It started to pick up very late for me, and the reasons I talked about before. But the biggest thing was I didn't have the connections. Now, someone saw me play about second game of my senior year, and they asked me, "How many offers do you have?" I was making plays all over the field. I was all state for 3 years, and I said, "I don't have any." And they're like, "Well, I'm well connected with college programs. I can help you out. I know a lot of college coaches. Do you want the assistance?" I said, "Yes, please help me if you can." And you can see these letters here. I went from little to no interest, doing all the wrong things, no connections, no anything, to Miami, Florida State. And this is the real Miami when Ed Reed was there and Ray Lewis and Deion Sanders, Florida State. This is not the ones that you know now. I went from little to no interest to once they knew who I was. And once I had an advocate pushing my name out there, it changed. I had Power Four offers. I had Group of Five offers. I had FCS offers. I had all the offers that you can look for. And the only thing that changed was I had contacts. I had an advocate helping me out. I had the same film. I was the same height. I was in the same school. Nothing changed but having the advocate help me out in my journey. So that's important if you're going through this process. Having someone that can help you. Hopefully, your coach is, other people are. But if they're not, I'm going to give you action steps that you can do right now to help yourself out. So The screen right here. The big thing is, do coaches know who you are? All right. If they don't know who you are, it's a wrap. You can't get recruited if you're not in their database and they're not looking at your film and evaluating it. If they're not having you on campus to meet you in person for that evaluation, it's not going to happen. So this is the biggest thing. Do coaches know who you are? And if they get your information, they're going to do research. They're going to look at Google. They're going to look at social media outlets and platforms. They're going to try to find all the information that they can to see, are you a prospect that they should recruit? All right. If they look at social media and the page isn't set up right, or if they Google who you are and you're not anywhere to be found, you're not going to be a prospect. They're going to get right off of you. You have to have everything aligned correctly. So if you reach out to a coach and say, hey, coach, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, it has to have social proof. Your social media has to be set up. Your search units, Google, Bing, and all that has to be there as well. So they can say, okay, here's a prospect that I should continue looking for. If they can't find any information about you at all, that's going to hurt your chances moving forward. You want to be everywhere. Everywhere that they're searching, you want to be. And I'll go over that in a second. Now, this is what you guys need to do. I talked about social media. Parents that are on here, double check your kids' social media and make sure it's set up right. And by set up right, go to their bio, and this should be on Twitter and this should be on Instagram, and make sure their full name is on there. Make sure their grad class is on there. Make sure their NCAA number is on there. Make sure their city and state is on there. Their position, their coach's information, and more. All that has to be on there, because if you miss out on one thing, you could hurt your chances. If I'm a college coach and we chop up the country by states and the player doesn't have what state that they're in, I might get a write off of it saying, I don't know if it's my territory, whose territory. I'm not going to look at it. I might move forward. If they get on there and they see the city and state and it matches where they're from and which area they recruit, that can help them now move forward and look at the information. If that bio is not set up right, it could hurt your chances. If you have your NCAA number on there, they don't know if you're eligible. They don't know if you are, in the information system with the NCAA. That can hurt your chances. So you want to make sure that it's all set up right. Now, if they get on your page and they see all your bio and it looks good, then the second thing is you have to have the right information on there. All right. I go through a lot of players' social media and it's not set up the right way. They don't have any information in the bio, but they aren't posting and they aren't being their own marketing department. And by marketing department, if someone lands on your page, they need to see that you're a high level athlete. These are 5 things that should be in rotation every week on your profile. Number 1, all right, I know the season started, but you have to have training clips. If I'm a defensive back, I should have a camera on a field and I'm training cones. I'm doing W drills. I'm doing turn and goes. I'm doing high point of the ball. I'm showing coaches that I'm working on my craft and that I have athletic ability, quick feet, agility, speed, and everything else. You have to have on-field training clips. And it doesn't matter what position, get the training clips out there. Number 2, weight room, lifting weights, bench press, squat, cleans, overhead press, everything that's showing that you're getting bigger, faster, stronger, that you're trying to get or trying to be the best that you can be in the weight room, that needs to be there. Because if you're going to be recruited, they want to see, are you putting in the hard work, the grind work on the field, but in the weight room as well. Number 3, highlight videos. I go to so many kids. They don't have one clip up. They don't have their mid-season. They don't have their full season. If they do, they posted it 10 years ago. They didn't put it back up there. You got to search month after month after month trying to find the information, trying to find a video. You have to make sure you get your highlight clips back up. And now that preseason started and their scrimmages, you should start clipping those and getting that up as soon as possible for anybody who lands on your page. They can start seeing this year's information, this year's video. And then anything about character, if you're doing clubs and activities, if you're going to church, if you're volunteering, anything that you can do, put that out there as well so they can see that you're well-rounded. And then anything academic, any paper, any tests, A's and B's, get that out there. These are the 5 things that need to be posted. And a lot of kids and a lot of families are not doing this, and it's hurting your journey. You have to get this up. The bio has to be right. And these are the 5 things that you should be posting a week. All right. You can't just post one thing and then 4 weeks later come back and post another thing. And then 6 weeks. That's not a system. That's not a schedule. You have to make sure you're at least posting 3 times a week, but I would do 5 times a week, one of each thing that's here to make sure that if someone lands on your page, they can evaluate you in 5 different categories and then follow you because they don't want to miss out on a great prospect. So hopefully that makes sense. These are things that you could do right now to make sure that you're set up the right way on the field, weight room, highlight clips, character posts, and also academic posts. Make sure that that's on Instagram. Make sure it's on X, and it's going to help you out in your journey. Now, common mistakes that a lot of juniors and seniors are doing. Number one, you're waiting to junior or senior year, and you're still not doing the things that need to be done. If you wait to junior or senior year, so if I have a 7th, 8th grader on here or 9th and 10th, you got to get going immediately. Do not wait. If you are a junior or a senior now, there's still time, but you have to pick up the pace. All right, number two, common mistake, posting random highlights, no strategy. I just gave you the strategy on a clip before. Make sure you're posting those 5 things and make sure you're doing it every single week. So when someone gets on your page, they're seeing it. They don't have to scroll through. They don't have time to do that. When they get on your page, I look at the first clip, I look at the second thing, the third thing. I see a lot of things and I know what you're all about right away. I don't have the time to search all throughout your profile for month after month, year after year, trying to find highlight clips or workout videos. I need to see it every single time I get on your page. There should be something new. Verified data, I talked about your bio, but put 40 times on there. Put your size, your height, your weight. Put your pro agility times. If you have vertical jump, all those things, get it onto your page. If I get on your page and I see someone's running a 4.4, that's going to intrigue me as a coach saying I need to scroll down and find that highlight video to see if it translates to the field. All that has to be on there. Why not put that there? If it's not there, you're hurting your chances. Get that information on there. Number 4 and number 5 are the biggest mistakes. Not communicating with coaches. Every time I talk to a family, I ask them, how often are you messaging coaches? And they say this hit or miss. I might do 3 a month. It might be 1 this week and then maybe 4, 3 weeks from now. That's not a system. You have to communicate. And when you communicate, it's not just one message sent and then you check them off the list and say, well, I sent a message to Villanova. I'm good. That coach could be on vacation. That coach could be in meeting game planning. He could be on the road recruiting. He could be on the road for a away game. You have to send messages and you have to follow up. No communication, one message is no communication to me. You got to reach out and you got to follow up. And then the big thing is the system. You have to have a system in place. I talked about social media and I talked about sending messages and the posting and all that. There has to be a full system to make sure that you are set up the right way. And our system, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit, we have what we call the scholarship academies. It sets you up, your foundation the right way. So everything is checked off to make sure that your foundation is set and you have all the opportunities to earn a scholarship. All right, now, action step number 1, know where you stand. All right. I talk to families and like, well, how many schools are interested in you? They don't know. How many are actively recruiting you? I don't know. That's not a strategy. That's not a system. You have to have it in place. No contact, some interest, and then actually recruiting. All 3 different things. You got to have columns on a sheet or on a spreadsheet and really know who's actually recruiting you. So if you get a message from a coach and it says come to a camp and it's you never talk to that person, they no phone call, no real messaging on social media and all that, that might be some interest category, but that's not they're actually recruiting you. Because if I'm a coach, I can go on certain databases and I can say class of 2028, I need wide receivers and I need the state of Florida and send a mass message out and they can put your name on there. You could just say first name and it just pulls from the database and sends it. That's not real recruiting. You're in their database somehow, or they have a database with your name. But you have to make sure that actual interest is different than some interest. All right, now, actual interest is you met them and you're building with emails and you're building with phone calls and texts. All right, they invited you on the campus, you met them, you walked around with tours, got into their weight room, their locker room. That's actual interest. They're building a relationship with you, they're calling you, they're texting you, they're emailing you, they have you on campus. You have to have a list of who's actually recruiting you. And then if you have some interest, some random emails, put that in some interest, and then the no contact. Most people will have all the Power Four schools that they want to go to. That's their main list. If you haven't talked to any of them, that's no contact. You have to now start to say, okay, am I going to put all my effort and energy into SEC when I have no contact with them? Or do I look into Group of Five FCS and they're actually talking to me, has some interest? That's where you need to start focusing. So you got to have realistic expectations. You have to know who's actually interested in you, who has some and who has no contact. Hopefully that makes sense. You don't want to waste time with schools that you have no contact with. You're sending out messages, they have never responded. You're wasting time. You got to actually start talking to the ones that have interest that may offer you. All right, if you're wasting time, that's no good. Action step two, build the right list. This goes along with what I talked about on the first action step. You got to have schools that are a fit. If you want a scholarship, you can't say, you know what, I run a 4.840 as a wide receiver, but SEC and ACC and Big 12 and Big 10, that's my level. That is not the fit. All right, they're looking at guys that run 4.3s, maybe high 4.4s or into 4.5s. You have to set yourself up the right way and make sure the schools that you are looking at are the ones that will actually offer you. So what you should do is there's 100, just say 100 schools. 50 of the schools are good fits. They're looking at your height, they're looking at your weight, and they're looking at your measurables, your speed, your quickness with testing and all. That is fit schools. You should be focusing on them and getting information definitely to them. Then you're going to reach to schools that are higher. All right. Ones that are maybe group of five or power four. You start shooting messages out to them, but you're not going to spend all your time with those. You do some reach schools that are a little bit higher than your fit. All right. And then you do ones that are under, because a lot of people say, you know what, I am just a division one. All right. But if division ones aren't hitting, you got to have some division two, some NAIAs that you are focused on as well, and see if the interest is there. The market will tell you. All right. If you're not getting anything from Power Four, you might get one or two from Group of Five, but FCS Division One, they're pouring in nonstop, a lot of calls and all that. That's your fit. That's where you want to focus. Okay, let me find the FCS Division One schools and make sure I build that up, reach to Group of Five, and then fall back to Division Two and NAIA. So you got to have a strategy when you're reaching out. You have to be realistic as you do it. All right. The biggest thing that stops people from being recruited is unrealistic expectations. For example, I talked to a lineman a couple of days ago, and they're 6'1" and about 250, and they're all state where they are. They're looking at Big Ten schools. And I had to tell the family, I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I was like, you're not going to be a lineman in the Big Ten. I'm just going to be serious with you. If you're 6'1", 250, you're not going to the Big Ten. All right, now, to bring up that point even further, I brought up a couple of people on Ohio State's roster. All right, this is what they're looking for in prospects. If you can see this offensive lineman, he is 6'7" and 310. That's what they're looking for. If you're under 6'4", you're not being recruited. Or you better be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you have to be 6'3" maybe to get on their radar, but that's what they're looking for. They're looking for big giants that can move bodies. All right. Now, you could be a great player. That's not taken away from your ability. All right. But they're looking at certain measurables, height, weight, and obviously skill set. So you have to be realistic. All right. When you're being recruited, this is what you need to do. Go to these programs and look at the average size and see, do you fit the average size? For example, if I'm a wide receiver and I'm 5'5", 130, all right, if I go to Ohio State, are they recruiting a whole bunch of 5'5", 130 wide receivers? I'm looking at it 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", 6'3". Okay, they're probably not looking at my size. I got to now look at highlight films. All right, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Highlight is big. When you set up your film, and let me go to that right now. When you set up your film, it has to be set up the right way. And when I say that, you have to sequence it where the top 5 plays are the best plays of the whole season. What a lot of athletes do and families do, they go by game one and they put some plays in order. So the first play, I had a 10-yard catch. I'm putting that first play in my highlight. Next play, I ran a speed sweep and I gained 3 yards. That's my next highlight. Next play, I caught a 5-yard hitch. That's my highlight. And they just work from game one all the way to game 10. If I'm a college coach and I need to keep my job and I'm going to look at film and I get there and I see a 10-yard catch, a 2-yard speed sweep, and a 5-yard hitch, I am off your film because you don't show me you can make big time plays to help me keep my job and win games. Your film has to impress them. If it's not impressing them, they're going to be off of there. Now, if the best that you can do is a 2-yard run and a 10-yard catch and a 5-yard hitch, and that's where your highlights fall, then you got to be realistic. If I don't have wow plays for Division One, okay, now let me look at Division Two and NAIAs and look at film. How does it match up? All right, so I'm gonna look at one of the prospects that came through our system. If you look at the screen, this is Zachary Turner. Zachary played in our All-American game. He was in our system. We're pushing him out there. Big time prospect out of Duncanville in Texas. If anybody knows anything about Duncanville, they're always in AT&T Stadium, playing in the state championship or at least in the Final Four. So I'm gonna play a little bit of Zachary's highlight film. This is what they're looking for. If they go to your film, and this is all in order that he had, this is what it should look like when you're being recruited. So I'm gonna play this film. All right, so he's up top. He runs the slant, catches it, splits 2 guys, pulls away, leaves them all behind. I'm looking at it as a college coach, like, oh, wow, I like that. Now he runs a 10-yard curl, makes someone miss, hand down, balance, breaks the tackle, speeds away, scores a touchdown. Here's another play, a 5-yard hitch. He doesn't just catch it, get tackled, runs away from 4 people, splits this guy, cuts back, speed, size, and breaks away. All right, last play, he lines up a tight end. All right, they missed him. He catches it, but look, once he catches it, takes off, afterburners, safety at corner has no chance to catch up with him. Those are wow plays. If I'm looking at that, I'm like, you know what? That kid can play. Now I need to learn more about him. All right. You have to have highlight stat. If you're thinking I'm going to SEC, ACC, Big 12, you have to have wow plays where that coach is going to say, I need to look at it a little bit more. He is now one of the wide receivers at SMU. He wanted to stay close to home in Texas. And he's actually going to play as a true freshman this year, big time prospect. But that's what it should look like if you're being recruited. Action step number 4, and I can't harp on this enough. Don't wait. All right, you got to get your name out there, push your information out there, and there's multiple ways to do that. Some people might have heard of questionnaires. All right, some people might not have heard of it. All right, look them up. You should do prospective student athlete questionnaires. You can Google it, say, okay, let me look up University of Richmond football questionnaire. It'll pop up on Google. You go to it, you click it, and it'll say football, it'll say softball, it'll say baseball, basketball, all the sports. Go to football. It'll ask you your personal information. It'll ask you your academic information and then your athletic information. But you're going to put your name, your email. They're going to ask for a photo. They're going to ask for all your information, transcripts, and now you're in their database. A lot of people skip over that because it takes a little bit of time to do it. But if you're not in their database, how do you know who you are? How are you going to look over your information? Where are you going to get your email from? Where are you going to get your phone number from? Where are you going to get your mailing address from if you're not in their database? You have to do these small things to make sure that your information is out there. Number 2, you got to email them. And as I talked about before, you can't send one, cross them off the list and say, well, I sent that email. You got to follow up, and then follow up. All right, you got to do it in the summer, fall, winter, spring, keep it in rotation to make sure you're good. And in social media, I talked about setting up your social media the right way. You have to find these programs, find these coaches, and build a relationship on there as well. Sending messages, and then you have to follow them and then like some of their posts. You got to comment on there to let them know that you're interested in their program and learning more about them as well. That's how you build relationships. If you're not doing these things, you're falling way behind. And then the last action step is academics. Obviously, you got to make sure that you're set up the right way. Talk to your guidance counselor. Make sure you did the eligibility center that checks you off saying that you're good academically, so they know that they can recruit you. If you don't have your NCAA number and your transcripts don't look good, then you can't be recruited. All right, so if they have 50,000 prospects and 20,000 don't have the grades, guess what? I still have 30,000 prospects to look at. So they will weed you out quickly if you don't have the grades. And that's, everybody knows that. We harp to all of our kids, make sure that your grades good. I'm sure you're keeping your child's grades up as well. But that's a big step. All right. So I'm going to go over them one more time before I go on. Number one, where do you stand? Who's actively recruiting you? Some interest, no contact. Make sure you focus on the ones that are actively recruiting you, make the right list, see where your fit is, your size, your athletic ability, and more, and then focus on those programs. Fix the film. Make sure that the top 5 plays, the first 5 are your best plays from the year. You want to make sure that they wow the coach so they stay on. Stop waiting. Do all the action steps I talked about, the questionnaires, DMs, and emails, and then academics are the right way. All right, now I talked about it. Questionnaires, do the questionnaire. Then send an email, let the coach know, hey coach, I just did the questionnaire. I just want to introduce myself and then build a relationship there. Don't stop there. Then go to DMs on social media and then send them DMs as well. So find a coach and send them information and build that relationship. Questionnaires, emails, DMs. All right, that's the process that you guys should be doing to make sure that you are in their database and then you start to reach out and build that relationship with them. All right, all that I talked about is a system. And I know I'm kind of going quick because it's late and I don't want to hold people up. We're at 9:30 and I plan to go just 40 minutes. All right. Everybody needs a system. You could be the best player in the world. If they don't know who you are, you're not going to be recruited. We all know that. All right. I'm from Delaware. No one's recruiting me because of my zip code. I talk to people that live in Texas. We're 1A, 2A. We're not being recruited. We're a small town. No one's looking at us. All right. You need a system to get your name out there. Some people are from Chicago or LA or other big cities. I'm one of many. All right. How do you stand out? You need a system. All right. We have a system in place to make sure that you're seen and evaluated. I just kind of want to go over that real quick and then get back into the recruiting piece and show you how we can help you. All right. So what I created with our recruiting division. It's called nationalradarverified.com. It's the National Radar System. All right. With that said, we have scholarship academies. We're going to position every player the right way to get a scholarship. If you have the ability, you have the grades, and you just need the push, we have something for you. All right. We have quarterback scholarship academy, running back scholarship academy, linemen all the way down the line, and we have basketball academies as well. We have a lot of kids that are in it, a lot of kids going on visits, a lot of kids getting offers, and then end up getting committed to the next level to play the game that they love and earn their degree. All right, I always tell a family right now, where do you stand? Do you have an offer? If you don't, you got to change something. Because if you continue to do the same things you've been doing and nothing changes, you're going to be on the outside looking in. How many signing days do you see and there's 1 or 2 kids at the table? And then there's 30 seniors on the football team. Well, 2 people only had ability and the other 28 weren't good? No. The other 2 had something in place to get them to the next level, to get them seen and evaluated. You can't tell me that the third best player didn't have any ability to get at least a partial scholarship or at least go D3 or something else. There's a disconnect and you got to make sure you're set up the right way. So with our academies, if you get in, we're going to start with getting your social media set up. We're going to have a Zoom meeting. We're going to do all these different videos that teach you to process things that you need to be doing. And then for 365 days, there's action steps. We're going to do exposure pieces. And then I'm going to evaluate your film and say, okay, now we're going to target these conferences, these schools, and I'm going to write personal recommendations on your behalf to knock on their door. I needed an advocate. When I had an advocate and someone started calling and emailing and all that to college coaches, they took me seriously because they believed in that person. They said, here's a prospect that's 6'2", 190 that can play you don't know about, and he can help you win games. I went from little to no interest to 50 plus offers because I had a system and I had an advocate. I had someone pushing my information out. That's what this scholarship academy is for. I can't guarantee a scholarship because I'm not the AD, the head coach. I'm not the recruiting coordinator. I'm not the positional coach. So I can't guarantee anything, but I can guarantee this. If you have ability and you don't have any looks now and you don't change and use an advocate or do some other avenues It's not going to change because the transfer portal is going to take over and other means are going to take over. You have to be an undeniable prospect. If you're not undeniable, they're going to skip right over you. And then you want to keep their job. As I mentioned, go in the portal. Let me just find a transfer from Alabama. Let me find a transfer from Ohio State or Penn State. I'll go with them because they're a proven commodity. I don't know if I can gamble on this unknown kid that I really don't have that information on. So you got to make sure you're set up the right way. So if you get into our scholarship academy, action steps, we're going to give you everything that you need to do on a weekly basis. Personal recommendations, we're going to send those. Audit your film, make sure it's set up the right way. Look at your social media, make sure it's set up the right way and you're doing the right things. Keep you accountable for posting. And then we have camps. If you're class of 2028, when we get our 27 schedule up for our camps all over the country, unlimited, you can go to those, be seen, evaluated by college coaches, give you a leg up. 365 days of that. That's what we're going to do for you. Now, on top of that, we're your marketing agency. So if you get into our program, we have our marketing plan. Right now, we're starting to do all of our verified prospects, anybody in our academies. We're going to do our preseason information and posts and sharing and all that. Then we're going to do our preseason once we start it and get that going. Make sure your information's out there. October, early to mid-season posts, December, we're going to do that as we get towards playoffs, February, once you start getting into workouts and getting the spring startup. And then May and June throughout the summer, we talk about the off season, the summer. So we have posts that we're going to do. We do graphics, we do features, we write articles, we do videos, we do all these things for the athletes that are in our program to make sure that their name's out there, the exposure's there. We want to take you from locally known to nationally known, building exposure. But then we're also going to do the action steps behind the scenes and the recommendations to make sure that those connections are there. It's all a system. The marketing piece is huge, but then all the sharing of the information behind the scenes and being an advocate, that's the other big piece. We put it all together, one-stop shop to make sure you're good. These are examples of what you get when you're in our program. We write articles and features and graphics. So you can see an article for a player that is verified in our system. We write verified scouting reports for people that are in our system. We star rate people that are in our system to make sure that their information is out there and their rating is proper. And then we want you guys to be in there in the algorithm. We talk about the algorithm all the time. So I put my son in the system. He's class of 2033 point guard. He's pretty good, but we're making sure that it's undeniable by the time he gets into high school. All right. He's going in the sixth grade, young kid, just turned 12. But I do a voice search. Top guards in the class of 2033 basketball. All right. Christian Riley. That's my son. Shannon Riley, Christian Riley. His name pops up. So as we start to reach out to schools over and over and over, and a coach says, well, let me look him up. Let me see what he's all about. His name is going to pop up on Google. It's going to pop up on Bing. It's going to be all over social media. They can say, you know what? I got to learn more about this kid. He's popping up everywhere. That's what I talked about. Get the algorithm going. If you're in our scholarship academy, you're verified in our system, it's going to start pushing you up there. Now, if he types in Christian Riley, the basketball player, I need to know more about him. A scouting report pops up. Ball handling, high basketball IQ, on the ball defense, all that's there. For a football player, it's going to say great vision, speed, quickness, great hands, all those things pop up. Why wouldn't you want your kid to pop up anytime a college coach or a recruiter or scout is looking for information? They can see your player's name pop up. And when I was coming through Delaware, they could say, hey, I need a prospect who's out there, and they're looking in the mid-Atlantic. My name will pop up with any Pennsylvania kid, Maryland kid, New Jersey kid, Virginia kid. That's what I needed. I didn't have that. But if I had this type of system, like I said, it would have been undeniable and then I could showcase my abilities. My son at 11 was sending messages out to colleges, getting messages back. There's a lot of high school kids that send messages out to colleges and don't get anything back. He's getting letters. He sends messages out and they see his social media because it's set up the right way, post all over, workout videos, highlight videos, and more. And they can Google his name and it's there. So they're like, let's learn about him. Let's invite him to camp. Let's build an early relationship with him, evaluate him. If he turns into something, we're first. If he doesn't turn into something, then we just move along. But this is how the algorithm works. All right. It's working for him. And this is an 11-year-old. All right. If it's working for him, it can work for a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or a senior. Do it the right way All right, set yourself up the right way. So, with that said, we always tell parents, you have a decision. You can do all these things yourself, all right, and get your list together and start contacting colleges and do all the things, and you should, because you should be the biggest advocate for your child, and they should want it so bad that they're doing all these things. But guess what? The reality is these things probably are not happening. Every time I talk to athletes and families, there's so many missed boxes that are not checked, and that's hurting them. And when I ask them, do you have offers? They say no. I asked them about 10 different things that could be affecting it. They might be doing two things the right way and eight things are missing. So if you don't do the right things and you're trying to do it yourself, you're probably going to be missing out on some things, if that makes sense. So our system makes sure that we hold you accountable, and if you're in the system, you hold us accountable to make sure that we're doing the right things by you. All right, now junior senior year is coming quickly. All right, I just had a meeting with the seniors, and I said you have 10 games left. That's it. You have 10 games. After that, you have no more film. There's nothing you can do. So you need to set yourself up the right way to be recruited. Because if you want to wait to mid-season and say, okay, well, Shannon, can you help me now? Or you want to wait until December and say, I got a couple weeks before signing day, what can you do? It's too late. All right. So seniors, you got to get going immediately. All right. If you feel you're a scholarship level athlete and you don't have anything, you guys contact me tonight. Get started tonight. Now, this is what a common mistake. Seniors were once in the juniors position right now. And the families say, we're going to start doing these things and it's going to work out and we're going to get it going and scholarships are just going to pour in. And they don't do all the action steps for a whole junior year and it's slow. And then senior year, we're right back at it. Hey, what can we do? How can we help? If you need that push and you believe in your son's talents, our program costs a little bit, but it's going to set you up the right way. If you get unlimited camps and you get unlimited action steps and unlimited features and a whole push with all the things that you need, our program is $599 for 365 days. NCSA, those type of programs, they're charging $5,000 for recruiting tips. We're giving you unlimited camps. We're giving you all the action steps. We're writing recommendations. We're doing features, articles, posts. We're doing everything for $599. And then people are sitting back like, well, maybe should I think about it? Okay, well, think about it. And then when we get back to senior year and late in the senior year, and it's going to be too late. So I just tell families, do your due diligence, go to nationalradarverified.com, look up what we have there, and I would say take advantage of the opportunity. Right now, it's $599 because this is a preseason push. The regular price is $1,164, which equates to $97 a month. All right, but we brought it down for now because there's a lot of seniors saying, "Can you help me?" And finances, I get it. That's why we're trying to help people out. $599 gives you 365 days and unlimited camps and features and all the things that you need to be set up the right way. All right. Now, that's all I have. I want to make sure that all the action steps, hopefully you guys got value of what I said and things that you guys can be doing. Hopefully you learn some things about our company and what we can do. We have All-American games as well. All right. I'm sure you guys get flooded with some of the stuff I said out there about All-American games. If you feel you're a high-level player, but you're playing 1A ball and no college coaches are taking you seriously because you're playing 1A ball, just like they didn't take me seriously because I'm from Delaware, even though I was first team All-State and making plays all over. They said, we don't know if it's you're good or the players you're going against are horrible. So they didn't take me seriously. They didn't come into the state and look at me. Once they saw it and someone said, you need to double check this kid, it took off. But if I had a game like AT&T Stadium that we host and I made play after play after play against Texas, Georgia, Florida, California kids, the ones that are being recruited, it would have been undeniable that I was a star. So, do you guys have any questions about the recruiting pieces that I talked about, the action steps that you guys can do? If so, feel free to raise your hand. If you want to unmute, ask anything, that's fine. I will follow up with more information about the process and links to be able to sign up for our game or our recruiting packages that we have. Like I said, we can help you out, set up that foundation the right way. All right, we have a discount that's going on. I tell people right now, even if you want to go the unpaid route, go to nationalradarverified.com and create a free profile because college coaches ask us for our database. We're moving everything to National Radar. So If your name is in there and then you upload your film and your highlights and pictures and your stats and more, when they ask us for it, we just give it right to them and say, here you go. All right. Now, if you're in our system, we don't wait for them to ask. We share it out on your behalf over and over and over each month to make sure that your information is getting to the right programs. But if doing it free, definitely do that. If you want to be verified and get your name out there, then there's Academy information. You can look over and see what it's all about. But definitely can help you out in your journey. So I'm gonna follow up with the recording. And a thank you for joining. People that signed up and weren't able to join, still going to give them the recording and give them information and links. But sit down with your family, talk about it. We have a discount for preseason in the recruiting piece right now. And then if you want to play in the game, there's also a preseason discount that we have going on as well. We want high level players in our program. All right, you don't have to have 5 stars and you don't have to have offers. We want to turn you into a 5 star, not just take 5 stars and say, hey, look what we did. All right, we want to work with people because I was in the same boat. I didn't want people to say, you know what, you don't have a star rating, you don't have an offer. We're just going to push you to the side. I needed that advocate. I needed that push. So that's what we're doing for you guys. All right. I don't see any hands up and no one unmuted. So I appreciate you guys getting on. I will follow up shortly with everybody, whether it's tonight with a thank you or early in the morning. But if you're really needing that push, I'm here for you guys. I want to help you guys out. If you have any questions, follow up on the email that I send. Just reply to that, and I can answer any questions that you have. If you want to move forward, go to nationalradarverified.com, create the free profile, and then go to the Scholarship Academies, see all that we do, sign up for that, and then let me help you out in your journey. All right. So I appreciate you guys getting on. You guys have a blessed one, and I'll follow up in the next 24 hours. Thanks again.